All right, welcome back. We are continuing to work on practicing releasing, practicing iterations, practicing planning, and practicing soliciting feedback. And so far, our record has been 4 likes and 1 bit of feedback. And so I posted this just a few minutes ago, and we've already got 5 likes and we've got 2 people have commented. So pretty good. We're breaking records, so that's nice. And certainly this last few days, for whatever reason, has been really emotional in terms of highs and lows, as you well know, that can happen in game dev. And I think it has to do with posting some of my older game ideas and not getting a lot of great feedback on those, or even I think the Astropop, that was a new mining feature, but it got no reactions whatsoever. And it was a little expected, but I think it's hitting home a little bit more. Like, wow, I'm really going to need to step up my game if I want to get something out there and sold that's interesting to people. So hopefully this one does a little bit better, and I feel a little bit better coming out of it. I'm still really passionate about this game, so I'm not as worried if it doesn't do well. We are only posting on Godot Reddit forums, so it's just a bunch of other Godot devs out there. But hopefully they see this and they go, oh, this looks interesting. What is this? I want to see more. So we'll see. We are currently on project number 3, which was the teleportation demo, which you just saw there, and I can just show this again with sound. We were asking for feedback. Hey, could this be improved? And one of the comments was, it looks a little bit more like lightning, so maybe it should have a little bit more pop to it. And I agree. So I might dig around with that in a future iteration. I am really happy with the result of the teleportation, because that was part of this POC, what it's like to teleport between levels, and and so it feels really good. And what I did end up implementing was fast teleport, which is you can quickly teleport between the levels, but you're at risk because you're going to shift on the X up to 128 pixels in either direction. So it's a bit risky because you might fall into a pit or a trap or a pile of monsters. And then you would have the alternative teleportation, which was a focused teleport where you could spend more mana, more time to teleport to a specific location and make it safer. Or if you wanted to actually travel much deeper into the dungeon, you could jump from, say, town all the way down to that dungeon level versus having to teleport like 10 times to get down there. So pretty happy with it and on track in terms of time. All my estimations are going pretty well, although it would have taken me longer had I gone after this other one. But retrospectively, the big takeaway for me here is that stepping away from your projects for about somewhere in the range of 20 to 30 days for me allows me to come back with a fresh pair of eyes, with a new lens, and look at my project and go, wow, I did a lot of stupid things here. Why did I do that? I should fix this. The longer you work on something, the more accepting you are of its current design. You stop thinking about all the wrong things, and when you step away for a long period of time and come back, you'll notice it and go, wow, that is not good code. That is not, it wasn't meant to be there. And now you have fresh energy too, so it would be a great time to do some refactoring to fix some of those things. And I think it's a great sort of long-term maintenance approach. Just tiny breaks, just so you can come back with fresh eyes. So something that I'm going to be trying to incorporate into my longer-term plans, sort of like a planned break versus an unplanned burnout. So what else do we got? So I had ChatGPT draw me a picture of people that might be watching, the type of people that might be watching my videos. I'm like, wow, those people, they do look like the proper game dev, not a YouTube game dev, but except for the sweatshirt, that seems to be a thing. But they're very serious and determined, which I like. So I thought that was funny. What else do we have? So we're wrapping this up, and next thing is we cut this one for now. And the next thing is a Godot Valet. With that, we will see you in the next one. Cheers, bye. All right, hey, welcome back to another project update. And in this one, we're going to talk about Godot Valet, and it's only a 6-hour project, so it's going to go pretty quick. I do have some good news though. My last post with the teleportation demo, it's going really well, getting a lot of feedback. and reactions. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. If we look at the post for Godot Valet, it's pretty much what you would expect. It's only got 7 upvotes and a couple thousand views over the last day. Not a lot of people are that excited about a tool, but I did manage to get the comment obfuscation added to the tool, so links should be down below and you can play around with that if you want. And as for Godot Valet and finishing that up retrospectively, had a few things that we could talk about. I changed the lodestone to reaction check because talking about lodestones just was confusing to people. So it's going to be reaction check going forward. I updated the image and I said, hey, just give me an image about getting reactions. And this is what ChatGPT gave me just for a fun placeholder. But it did yank a bunch of stuff out of our history, put Deep Void Harvest in here, asteroids and other things. And this guy, I was like, wait a minute, I recognize this guy. This is Adam. Teaches a bunch of stuff on pixel art and whatnot, and he's really great. And this is a video that has over 1 million views, and it's just on how to use Aseprite, so it's pretty amazing. Great content creators, so check him out if you haven't seen him. What else do we got? So yeah, our teleportation demo blew up, and we could take a quick look at that. Scroll down here a little bit, and so here it is. It's been 2 days, and we have over 55 likes, and we have a bunch of comments. Some of those are mine. But it also has over 8,000 views. So that's really good, kind of shattering my record before, which was only 4 upvotes. So I'm really happy with it. It tells me that people like what they see here. They're reacting really well to it, and that I should probably spend another iteration investing here at least. So we are going to look at that for our next series. Then what else do we got? I took a quick look at my goals just to make sure I'm tracking well, that I'm doing the things that I set out to do. And most of these are yep. The only thing that's probably lacking is enhanced learning. Just making sure that in each project I do that I'm really trying to push myself to learn something so I can improve. What else do we got? Rick and Friends, they just posted a new video, and this one's interesting and it's aligned with kind of what we're talking about, which is, how to get to a finished game. And they start from, and I think they're going to do a training series on it. It might be paid, I don't know. It's going to be from prototype to polished game, and it looks like an interesting video. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, so maybe worth checking out. I should have a link for that as well down below. And then that's it, I think, for Godot Valet. And so the next thing that's up is 2 things. One, I'm definitely going to jump into Godot Valet and finish up the resource manager. I've been spending a few hours here and there over the last week, chipping away at it. So this will be a nice 3+ hours to add to it. And it's just going to be a mock-up, so I'll share that. And then the thing that's been bouncing around in my head ever since the teleportation demo kind of blew up for me was, okay, should I not do these things and should I go focus on the teleportation demo and get to it sooner? And I'm thinking, no, I think I'm just going to stick to my plan here, release a couple more toys, get those reps in, get the practice in, get the feedback. Who knows? Maybe one of these ends up getting just a ton of likes for whatever reason. But I don't think so. I think my teleportation/dungeon crawling demo is going to be the winner here out of these 3. So, but we'll see. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye. All right, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to do a pretty quick walkthrough of the POC mockups that we did for the resource manager feature in Godot Valet. Now, this feature is all about speeding up the process of importing images, importing sounds, and importing scenes and scripts. And then the bigger part for me is just speeding up the process of digging through my image folders, my sound folders, and my past projects for scenes I want to reuse. Now, I keep finding that I wish I had this feature, especially when I'm digging through zip files and images, because I have tens of thousands of images from all over the years of downloading all those free assets and everything else, and Kenny assets. And so what I want to be able to do is just quickly navigate and get previews and then quickly import whatever I have, instead of all this sort of manually moving through Windows Explorer and manually copying and pasting and digging through folders. So the way this is going to work, and here's the mock-up, is that you will launch Godot Valet like you normally do from the toolbar. You'll click a resource button here, probably right under release, for the selected project. So let's say Astropop. And then what that'll do is that will open here's my mock-up. Now, I was supposed to make my mock-up pretty, but I am learning Procreate right now, and I bought it and I'm learning it, and I tried to use it for the mock-up and realizing it's probably not the best choice for creating mockups because it doesn't have grids, and or maybe it does and I just don't know how to use it yet. And easy rect shapes that you can move around, and then even cutting and pasting something is actually complicated in Procreate for whatever reason. So what you end up in is you end up on a page that's going to be project specific. So we're talking about like Astropop, and I'll be able to quickly jump to some of my favorite folders, such as my image folder, my sound folder, or one of my past projects. So let's say I'm loading an image. So I go to my image root by clicking my image favorite. It'll load the root directory here, like in an Explorer style fashion, tree view. And so I'll be able to click on the different folders and images here and navigate my way down into whatever I want, just like I normally would with Windows. But when I click an image, I'm going to get a preview over here on the right. And I can pop this out so I can have it on, separate display or off to the side, or I could scale it a little bit by expanding the split screen here, whatever. So then I'm going to be able to probably have a next and a previous so I can quickly navigate through images. And then when I find the one I want, I select it, I click import, and then I'm presented with my current project's scene tree. And then I can quickly select the location that I want that image to go in, whether it's a scene or the assets folder, whatever that is. So it's gonna help me speed up the process of digging through images. Now the other thing that's important here is that a lot of my images are all zipped up, and so when I click a zip folder here and I expand it, it's just going to show me all of the image files that are inside of that, and I'll be able to select them or preview them and import them right out of the zip file. And I'll barely know that it's a zip file here. I'll probably have a special icon to suggest it as a zip file, but I'll be able to just navigate it like any other folder and import the file like it's any other image or folder. And so that's going to be nice. So that's a good feature. Now, same thing with the sounds. I'll be able to go right to my sounds directory and do the same navigation. And there's going to be some opportunities to build up some metadata on those files, those images and sounds, and even be able to automatically add some metadata. You'll be able to filter, like I'm looking for an OGG, or I'm looking for a wave, or I'm looking for a PNG or a GIF or whatever. That'll be in there. But there'll also be some metadata, like for sounds, I need to track my licenses, my license information for each sound. And right now I have like a text file in my sounds directory that tries to do that, but I would rather have that information here. Now we could have the resource manager store that information as a file in the sound directory as well, or right next to the image, but now I won't have to worry about creating those license files and all that kind of stuff. It'll just be done for me. And I'll be able to click copy here to just copy it right out of the resource manager so I can plug it in. And then eventually this will lead to just being able to automatically import the sound and the license information. Probably what I'm going to do for myself is create a class library that I can import into my new projects. That'll be my sound library. And when I import from resource manager, it'll automatically add the sound, the license, and everything. So I can just, in my project, just call play, and I don't have to worry about any of the other sound stuff. So that'll be nice. We'll get to that later. So the next kind of cool thing is that you'll be able to do all the same stuff with Godot scenes and scripts. So I'll be able to select a previous project, because all projects that are already in Godot Valet will be automatically added as favorites. So I'll be able to hit the project drop down, select an existing project, select a scene, and I can preview that scene and even edit the scene file if I want from the resource manager. But I'll be able to select a scene and the script, click import, and then bring that scene in. So that'll be nice and way faster than navigating through Windows through existing projects and folders. So that'll be really cool. And so what I ended up doing is, since I actually got ahead this week, so I actually spent time coding up some of that. So looking pretty good. So I basically giving myself a green light to start working on this, and I'm definitely going to include at least some thin slices. I think in the future we'll be adding all of the like filtering and metadata and things like that in iterations, but the first one's going to be images. That seems like a good first slice, which is just import images and get that working completely and fully and see how it's helping me, and then release it as a beta feature and then go from there. So, oh, one of the other opportunities is that when we're loading sounds, we'll have some pitch and volume things here, and we'll be able to adjust them. And, because a lot of those sounds, we're not quite sure if it's the right sound until we start adjusting the pitch on it. And so we can do that here basically in preview. And then if we get the right pitch, we can actually import it and then use that pitch value here. Now, at first, we'll have to probably just copy whatever the pitch value is, the adjustment, whether it's -10, +10, and adjust the volume. And then we can pull that in manually. But then later on, we can actually, as part of the import process, if we're using a sound library, or the resource manager knows how to interact with the sound library, where everything goes, and how to plug the sound metadata in, we'll be able to import the pitch and the volume adjustments and whatever else, maybe delays, things like that. But so that's kind of neat. Then it'd be cool if we actually, now I'm daydreaming here, but it'd be cool if we actually added more. There's probably some open source project out there that will actually modify the sounds in some way, act like, say, adding reverb and things. I don't know, that seems crazy, but that would be really cool if we could do that, because I do find that I want to crop some of my sounds or fade them in and fade them out, and it'd be really cool if we can incorporate some of that here. But that's way out there. Anything else that we want to talk about here? Be able to filter, obviously, so if you're only looking for PNG files or WAV files or GD files, we can filter out the rest, so that'll help speed things up with a few clicks. Yeah, I did post this, and of course we got low reactions as expected. We only got 2 upvotes after 2,500 views, so whatever. I didn't expect much, and especially with the quality of this, anybody who sees that's going to be turned off by it. But I can't justify cleaning up the mocks, especially because I know I have a lot of app experience creating apps, and I know that no matter what I put in here, as soon as I start making it, it's going to change for the better. So this is fine. I was able to work through all of the designs and think through a bunch of different features and what I need, and I got out what I needed. So, and we'll refine that as I get closer to an actual iteration for like the image thin slice. We'll refine it a bit more. I think that is it, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.